BoxBox Hub is an absolute essential for any Formula One fan, and the entire app with new widgets, statistics, localized race schedules, and countdowns, you name it. They even have support for Apple's new live activities feature with real-time updates during a race right on the lock screen, and honestly, some of the best looking widgets I've seen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for more silver action, and we are here in Brazil for the final sprint race of the season. And we have got an epic round coming up, round 20 of 22. 2 more rounds to go after this one, and we can close off the silver season. The champion already been crowned of B Rabbit then in Mexico last week, where there's still some points to play for, still some points on offer, and still some pride to be gained, of course, with your finishing position for the season. But welcome along to the stream, everybody. We are ready to get going here in Brazil for the round 20 of silver season 6. And we're looking forward to what's going to be coming up here in some action stations here in Brazil. Of course, a very famous circuit for usually the end of the season, or used to be the end of the season, before Abu Dhabi came along, and now Las Vegas as well. But hopefully we'll see some entertaining racing as well. We have got a couple of reserves in. We've got New Zealand Cam, who had a great performance in the Aston Martin last night in gold, in the Mercedes there in P4 currently. Of course, nobody set a time just yet. And then we have got Muin in the Alpha Tauri in place of KD. Craigar has retired there in the pit lane. He's got a qualifying ban, of course, with no footage from the previous race. And then we've got, I'm going to call him Glocks, but I think he's called Glocks. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, but Glocks there in the Ferrari, as well as Kaz in the Ferrari. So Ferrari made up of the reserves tonight here in Brazil. But yeah, welcome to Maglocks, who is the freshest reserve for the silver season, or the freshest reserve in ALR, that is. He has joined us today and actually got himself all sorted, ready to race here in silver tonight. So looking forward to seeing what he can do. Jenner is going to be the first out on track. We have already got a Williams there making his way through the pit exit. It is McConey, who is, of course, one of the newest full-time drivers there in silver, and he's looking good in the Williams so far. He had a fantastic race. I think it was Qatar, even though he got disqualified in the pit lane during qualifying. He got himself through the sprint into P8, and then got himself P2 in the feature, or the Grand Prix race itself, after that as well. So looking forward to seeing what he can do. Moomin is retired in the pits as well, so unfortunately not going to be taking part in qualifying, as I'm not sure what Jinner's trying to do. He's trying to get himself through the order as quickly as possible. There's Jinner on his on a flying lap already after just coming out of the pit lane there, but McConey there just letting him by. Yeah, welcome along to the stream. Welcome along to the ALR Silver Season 6 round 20 of Brazil. And we're going to get ourselves some action here tonight. Of course, the sprint event, then the final sprint event of the season. There's been 6 sprint events, if I'm correct. And this is the final one of the season. I can't name them all. I'm pretty sure Azerbaijan was one. I think Belgium was one. Then we had Qatar and the US of A. And then we've got Brazil. But maybe there was one I'm missing there somewhere. But if anybody can enlighten me in the comment section, that'd be fantastic. Hello, and good luck to the drivers. There's Kaz as well. Good luck. Oh, hola, says Gordo. Despite telling me he didn't speak Spanish there in the Discord earlier this evening. But Gino is going to be taking us away down the down the first straight really, towards the turn 4, which of course is where you have the nice Sina de Lago, the scene of the lakes. If that's the translation, I'm not quite sure, but I'm guessing that's the translation because it has the Lago in it, and that means lake, I'm pretty sure. And now up the hill there into Sector 2 we go for the Haas. Then Jinner there looking to get himself back on form after a couple of difficult races here in silver. But car number 3 there going through the nice horseshoe. Well, there's a few horseshoes around Sector 2, isn't there really? But this is the actual horseshoe corner. But now heading down the hill, back down the hill towards Sector 3 then. And let's see what he can do then as he comes off the power then to get himself into the corner and up the hill once again then to power down the main straight. Then a very famous circuit, this one, like I was saying earlier. Of course, there's been a lot of champions crowned here. The well, I think the most recent was actually Hamilton back in 2008, but it was quite a while ago. But there's quite a few champions that have been crowned here. Ginny sets an 8.8 to set us underway for the qualifying. We'll go over to McConey, who's going across the line then and do an 8.4, 4/10 faster than it, currently in pole position. Of course, only two drivers have set a time just yet, but it is looking good for McConey, and Dylan there into the 8s as well. 8.6 there for the well, he was the championship challenger, wasn't he? But of course, the championship was wrapped up in the driver's title last week. The constructors is still up for grabs there between Mercedes and Aston Martin, and I think Alfa Romeo of Dylan and Dopey Lemons are up there as well. So it is not all done and dusted just yet in the constructors here. There is still some points to play for the constructors teams, and looking to see who can come out on top. I don't think we're going to be able to crown a winner here tonight. Of course, there's still quite some more constructors points than there is drivers points on offer in the last two races as well. So it is potential there for some other drivers there or some other constructors, sorry, to pinch some points off of the likes of Alfa Romeo, of Aston Martin, and off of the current constructors leaders, Mercedes as well. Unfortunately, B Rabbit, they're not here tonight. He's away with work, but conveniently wrapped up the title last week, so he doesn't have to worry too much because Tango and Dylan there were waiting in the wings there if there was any mistakes then from the championship winner, but there wasn't any last week, so he managed to wrap up the title then in Mexico. But there we go, Dylan there back into the pit lane, then Mumford into the 8s as well. 8.8 for Mumford as well in the McLaren, currently P3. Camaro there in P5, VTOD in P16, but I don't think it's done a representative time there for VTOD. Same for Glocks. It is funny that we've got a Glock in the Brazilian Grand Prix once again. Hopefully it is not going to be unfavourable for the other Ferrari driver of Massa if he's going to be taking part. Sweet MJP there in P2 there. Williams looking very strong here in this qualifying so far. An 8.5 there for the other Williams driver. Both the Williams locking out the front row as it stands. But New Zealand Cam has come across the line to do an 8.0, sorry, and that has smashed the time so far by 0.4 of a second. Then into pole position as it stands as well. The New Zealander is looking strong here in Brazil. Pot stuff there into P5 and just getting out the way there of the Red Bull coming through, but he's into the top 5 then. Very nice stuff indeed there from the Haas driver. Had a good race last week, but of course I think the strategy just didn't work out for him in the end. Then he dropped down to P4 in the Mexican Grand Prix classification in the end, I think. But there we go then. VTOD has improved to a 10.0 there, but he's a bit far off the pace from the top 8 as it stands. We'll switch over to Gordo, who is coming up the hill now to finish off his flying lap. Then let's see what he can do in the Red Bull. The first of the Red Bulls there to cross the line to set a time here in this qualifying. Of course, it's a sprint event then, so there's only a short qualifying, then the sprint race, which I believe is 14 laps. I'm not quite sure. Gordo sets a 9.5 there to get himself into the top 10 then. Good stuff indeed. Mr. Elite back in the pit lane, abandoning his time, unfortunately, for the other Red Bull. Yeah, so we've got the sprint event, which I believe is 14 laps or so. 12 laps, isn't it? I think actually. I can't remember. I only raced it yesterday, but I can't remember at all off the top of my head. But there we go. VTOD, I think, doing a few practice runs here because he's going across the line once again there to carry on in the other Alpine. But like I was saying, yeah, the sprint race then will be coming up after this qualifying straight away. Then we'll have the Grand Prix itself, which is going to be 36 laps then following on from the sprint. So it's a bit of action, a lot of action tonight here, I should say, here in Brazil. But looking forward to seeing how it all unfolds. It is usually a pretty epic race event then, isn't the Brazil Grand Prix, and I think we'll see some action here in silver tonight as well. Dopey Lemons there into P8, then in the other Alfa Romeo, then Alfa Romeo looking strong at the moment. They're in the top 10, both of them, and looking good indeed. Then the Alpine there of VTOD just getting out of the way then of the cars coming through. But yeah, I think Gordo's going don't read that part of the circuit, as Ginger Rage would say, and he has got himself an invalidation there for going a bit too far wide there into sector 3, where I think just coming back to the pit lane on his in-lap there. Good stuff indeed. All right, then two retirements there. Craig R, of course, with a qualifying ban. Moomin Ninja as well has got a qualifying ban as well. We're giving himself one. And Irvine there, Irvine Reflection, Kaz, Tango and Fav yet to come out of the pit lane then. So that is that then. Dylan is back out on track. We'll see what the Alfa Romeo driver there can do as he comes up to sector 2 now. And let's see what we can do. Azerbaijan, Austria, Spa, that's the one I'm missing. Qatar, Kota and Brazil is the sprint event. But I don't believe, this is an early one, or an early, well, hopefully it's an early incentive, to be fair, because I don't believe there's going to be any sprint events then in the ALR calendar next season, because we don't like them. Is pretty much the gist of that. And to be honest, it's not really have that too much for a race weekend, especially in the league racing format. That is, I would say. So there we go then. So then we go, here comes Dylan there up the hill. Then he's been displaced by Gino, who's done at 8.5 in the Haas there. Here comes the Alfa Romeo though. Can he beat that time? Can he get himself on pole position? It could be close. It's a 8.1 there. He's only a 1/10 of a second away from pole position as it stands there. Up into P2 goes Dylan with a fantastic lap indeed. And there we go, up into P2 for the Alfa Romeo driver and looking to challenge, because of course he's still got that fight for P2 in the driver's title, as well as the fight for the constructor's title as well for the Alfa Romeo team. So there's still plenty to play for Dylan. Tango is his closest rival, but is yet to come out of the pit lane just yet. Right then. Craigar has said Craigar is going to go for a good one here. He's got a qualifying ban, but he's going to be flying through the field, I expect. I'm looking forward to seeing what Craigar can do. Then, of course, the sprint event does help you out, especially if you've got a qualifying ban, because you can really try and maximise your sprint event, and then that way get yourself through the field. McConey back out on track. Let's see what he can do as he comes up the hill once again, then to finish off his second flying lap and see if he can get himself that pole position then up to the line. It's going to be close indeed for the Williams driver, and here we go then. 1 minute 7, 1 minute 8. He has improved by a 10th and a half there, but he stays P3 for the time being there, and 8.3 then for the Williams driver. Good stuff indeed, and looking strong indeed as well, like I was saying earlier in the qualifying format. But yeah, like I was saying down in the comment section, Craigar said hold my beer as well, so he's looking confident there for the Brazilian Grand Prix when it does unfold. Of course, like I was saying with the sprint event, if you've got a qualifying ban, it can kind of help you out, because if in the sprint you can gain some places and you start the Grand Prix where you finish the sprint event. It's not like the F2 format where the qualifying decides your start for the sprint and then the feature as well. So yeah, the sprint event, although that is changing of course in real life F1 as well, but yeah, hopefully we won't have to worry too much about that. Mumford unfortunately has been validated. Viton is back in the pit lane. Here comes Glocks then down towards turn 4. And he's 1/1000th of a second down on his time then, unfortunately, so he's going to have to try and gain that back in the next couple of sectors, but we'll see what he can do in the lovely livery Ferrari there, the white and red, which of course is I think it was their special livery there for the Las Vegas Grand Prix in real life, which we recorded about 3 weeks ago now. But yeah, the season of course is wrapped up then in real life. We're only 2 races, I suppose you could say, away from the end of the ALR season. Will be finished before Christmas, and then you can sit back and relax and watch the season reviews and of course the awards, which the voting for the awards is out now in the Discord then for each division, and you can get yourself some votes in then if you haven't already, of course. Put your vote into the hat, I should say. Put your name in the hat, I believe. Put your vote into the hat. 8.2 for Maglocks, or Glocks I should say, is into P3, so it's looking strong indeed. Only a couple of tenths off of pole position as it stands as well, looking very strong in the Ferrari, and very nice indeed. Welcome to the league, and that's a welcome indeed there from Glocks himself to show what he can do as well in the qualifying format so far. Very nice helmet as well. Not that I speak much about helmets, but Gingerbread would love that. So there we go. There's an Alpine there just going through. I think that's Farf on an outlap. And we've got some more outlaps there for Reflection and for Tango as well. Then Irvine and Kaz still in the pit lane, yet to get themselves out on track. We'll have a look, come back to that, because New Zealand Cam is once again coming up the hill. He's gone purple again in Sector 2. I think he's up on his time. Well, that would indicate he's up on his time. He is currently, of course, on pole position, but can anybody knock him off his perch, or can he knock himself off the perch and improve once again on an 8.0? It's going to be close to the line. It's still an 8.0, but he's improved by 79 thousandths of a second and stays P1, but of course improves on his pole position time then. Good stuff indeed. Pops up there, just lap goes P4 as it stands. Kamara Racer is in the pit lane, but he's in P5. He's improved on his previous time. Speaking of repeat, is or both the Williams unfortunately dropping down there from their lofty position there at the beginning of qualifying, and we'll have to go again to try and improve. Here comes Jimmy now down the hill towards Sector 3. Can he finish off the lap in style? He's a 10th and a half up on his time currently. That is looking good indeed. Where would that put him? It will put him in the realms of P5 potentially. Let's see what he can do as he comes up the hill there to finish off the lap once again. Then a bit of a wheel on the grass there, but he still managed to keep the time, and up to the line it's a 8.4, puts him P7, splitting the two Williams then at the moment. Good stuff indeed. Reflection. Oh, you've just seen Tango jump up the order. Tango with an 8.0. Then he is, what is that? That is 17 thousandths of a second away from pole position. That is pretty impressive there from the Aston Martin driver. Looking strong indeed. And good stuff from Tango. He's got enough time to go back around again and potentially get that pole position and steal it away from New Zealand. Back in the pits goes Sweet MVP. Gino is just finishing off right now. Reflection has gone into P11 there with an 8.8 as well. Good stuff from the Mercedes driver, the other Mercedes driver, of course, who is a full-time driver, because New Zealand Cam there is just stepping in there for the champion, B Rabbit, then, who is away for his away for work, I believe. So that is that. Right, let's have a look and see what Favre's up to. Favre's into P10. He's into the top 10 for the Alpine. The other Alpine of Vitold down in P16 at the moment, but he hasn't been able to do a better time than a 10.0, which was his first time that he set on the board. So he could come back out and improve at a later date. Hopefully not too late of a date, because he needs to get himself done in within 4 minutes. But there we go. So that is that. Right, in the comment section, and Moomin and Craig are discussing their strategies, and of course the two with the qualifying bands, and they're going to be dropping a gear and disappearing apparently. So that is interesting stuff indeed. That's how they're going to play it. So there we go. Mr. Elite unfortunately has invalidated his time, so he's not going to be able to improve on this lap. He might have enough fuel on board to go once again. He's still got time on the board to go again as well. Mumford has just started a lap right on board with the McLaren driver, because he is the only other driver on a flying lap at this time on the circuit. Then Mumford down into P14 with an 8.8. Let's see what he can do. Can he improve? The field is so tightly packed there, down from pole position currently at 8.0 to Mumford. 8 tenths separates 14 drivers. That is pretty impressive indeed. And of course we'll see a few more jump up the order there and improve as well. So that will be getting close and close and close in this one. And Gordo said he's losing a second in Sector 2, and that is not good news for Gordo. Hopefully I think it's just down to setup there, potentially needing the higher front wing there to get yourself pointed in the right direction through Sector 2. And I think it was, I can't remember, I think it was 38.30 I was running as the front and rear wings in gold last night. Not that it will help anybody in silver, that is, because they're much better than I am, to be fair. But there we go then. Mumford there, up to the line for his second attempt. Let's see what you know. Tango's retired. He's not going to come out to improve his time then. Up to P9 then with an 8.4. Almost a 4/10 improvement there from Mumford. Good stuff, and he puts himself in the top 10 of the order as it stands. But of course there's a few drivers here yet to improve on their times, yet to come back out for their second attempt here as well. Kamara Racer is on a second, well, not just yet on a second attempt. He is, I think, going round for two out laps then before he begins his descent to his attack on the final attempt, the final lap then in this qualifying session for the Aston Martin driver. Like I said, Tango has retired, so he's not going to be any better than P2 in the qualifying. Going to have to hope that nobody behind him improves as well to knock him down the order. Kamara coming through the centre S is invalidated, unfortunately. There has Kamara going through the S's section, and that, unless he can get himself back round and has enough fuel and ERS to play with, that will be him done for qualifying. But I think there's enough time on the board for him to get himself recharged and ready to get going once again then. We'll have a look and see. Mumford is coming back to the pit lane. There's a half behind Jimmy, who's just finishing his out lap. McConey is on a flying lap coming down the hill towards Sector 3 now. He's a 10th up on his time. That will put him in the range of Kamara Racer and Potstuff and Maglocks, or Glocks. I'm just going to call him Glocks, but I keep saying that wrong. So there we go. Mumford retires in the pit lane. He is done in qualifying. He's not going to be starting any higher than P9 in this one. And McConey up to P4 with an 8.2 there. He does improve by just under a tenth of a second in the end there, up to P4 there on the second row of the grid as it stands. But of course there could be some drivers there to come through and improve on that time as well. Well, he jumped up to P8 there with an 8.3, looking good indeed. He seems to be parking in the wrong location there. Not quite sure what he's trying to do in that attempt, but he's hopefully not going to get himself disqualified and can get himself out of the way. He has got himself out of the way, thankfully. Ferrari of Glocks there just starting a lap then, and we'll have a look and see who's going to be next across the line. I think it's an Alfa Romeo. It's not Dylan, it's Dopey Lemons. He's just started a lap there as well. So never mind. This is my expert expert following of what's going on in qualifying. It's all drivers pretty much out on track now, and it's a bit of a mess trying to keep up with who's doing what. But here comes Jinner, who is unfortunately has invalidated. I think he's got enough time to go again, has he? He's got 16 seconds just about, and he's got himself over the line to start a second flying lap attempt. Then Dylan is the next driver to cross the line. He has improved, but he stays P3, and he has improved by just over 21 thousandths of a second, I think. So he has improved, but not enough there to get himself up the order. Cody is back in the pit lane, he's abandoning his time, and he's only staying P4 at best. So let's have a look and see who's going to be next to cross the line and who's going to improve as Sweet MVP up to the line. It's P5 for the other Williams driver there. P4 and P5 currently for the Williams team, looking strong indeed. Down to P6, I should say, as Potstaff has crossed the line to P4. The New Zealand Cam is back in the pit lane, so that is him done in qualifying. He's done a 7.7. I completely missed that as well. But a fantastic time. Glocks has done an 8.0, then he beats Tango to P2 and up into P2, up onto the front row of the grid there for the Ferrari driver, the reserve in his first ALR appearance as well, looking strong here in Brazil. Great stuff indeed. Dylan there is just cruising around there on the inlet then. Irvine's unfortunately invalidated this time. Here comes Gina up the hill. Can he get himself across the line? Can he improve on his 8.4 that he's currently set? It's going to be close indeed. He's improved just about, but he stays P10. Irvine retires in the pit lane, far down in P11. Dopey Lemons has abandoned his time as well, and I think, apart from Kaz, everybody has abandoned their time or finished the qualifying session. Kaz, unfortunately, has invalidated. He's going to be starting P17. But there we go then. That is your qualifying done, Dustin. New Zealand Cam is on pole position by 2.5 tenths of a second to Maglocks, and then Tango there in P3, Dylan in P4 are the other previously championship contenders after B Rabbit wrapped up the title in Mexico. So we'll run through the classification then of the wonderful qualifying in just a few moments. Then once we've got everybody properly sorted there, back in the garages and ready to get going for the sprint race, which of course is coming up in about 30 seconds time or so.
The current venue is now officially known as the Autodrome Jose Carlos Page, after the famous Brazilian driver.
Said that P2 of Glocks there, an 8.0 all the way down to P15, separated by 7 tenths of a second. That is pretty incredible from the silver grid. And looking great indeed for some close racing. Though it doesn't lend itself necessarily to close racing this circuit, but we'll have to make do with what we've got there and hope that all the drivers there can be on their best behaviour. New Zealand Cam there, pole position in the Mercedes there, fantastic time indeed, a 7.764. Like I said, 2.5 tenths ahead of Glocks there in P2. Both the reserves looking strong here in Brazil. Tango in P3, Dylan in P4, Potstaff P5, McConey in P6, Sweetener P in P7. Kamara Racer in P8 there, Irvine P9, Jinner in the top 10, P10 for him, Favre just outside in P11, then Mumford P12, Dopey Lemons P13, Mr. Elite P14, Reflection in P15, Gordo 16th, Kaz in 17th there, V-Todd didn't improve on his first time there, stays P18 then, and unfortunately Moomin and Craig are P19 and 20th, having a qualifying ban there, not being able to take part in the session.
BoxBox Hub is an absolute essential for any Formula One fan, and the entire app with new widgets, statistics, localized race schedules, and countdowns, you name it. They even have support for Apple's new live activities feature with real-time updates during a race right on the lock screen, and honestly, some of the best looking widgets I've seen.
Shout out there to our sponsor, of course, powered by BoxBox now is ALR. Of course, if you need any F1 updates, any F1 news, and get some fantastic widgets there on your phone as well for the Formula One. Of course, we're on a bit of a break there for Formula One this few months, but there's still a lot of F1 news coming out. And of course, if you want to stay up to date, then BoxBox is where you want to be, where you want to find out that latest updates. And of course, when the racing does get back as well, you can get live updates of the races as they go along if you're out and about as well, that sort of thing. So there we go then. BoxBox is our the sponsor for ALR. Go and check it out. Link in the description as well for 30% discount there for ALR drivers and fans as well. Good stuff indeed. Right then, we'll run through what we've got here for the sprint event, and it's a bit of a mix here as well. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the medium compound tyres. Everybody else is on the softs then for this sprint. 12 laps there to the finish, and it's going to be literally a sprint event because it's going to be done in a jiffy, I think, in very quick time indeed. But of course, they will have to wait and see which is going to be the preferred tyre, which is the best tyre, because the tyre wear, of course, on the soft compound tyres, albeit they'll be grippier, they'll be faster in the first phase. They will start to wear out quicker than those on the medium compound tyres, so we might see some favour. Might see some be favoured and some be not so favoured. So there we go. Right then, everybody in, but they're ready to get going for the start of the sprint. Then, of course, the formation lap there just underway, making sure the drivers can get themselves in the best, or the tyres in the best window, get the brakes warmed up as well, and get everything primed and in top-tip condition, or tip-top condition, for the start of this sprint event. Then Can, they're leading us away then, of course, on pole position then for the sprint event. Of course, the finishing order of the sprint will determine the starting order for the feature race, with the Grand Prix itself, which is coming up straight away after these 12 laps as well, so stay tuned for that. But of course, the sprint is what we're going to get. We're going to get the action of the sprint first before that Grand Prix is underway. But let's see what we can do here. So like I said, just lining up on the grid now in the order there. Craig are just coming over the top of the hill as we get the Alpha Tauris then into their grid slots as well. Ready to start this sprint event here in Brazil. Like I said, the final sprint event of the season. Then 2 more races to go of the Las Vegas and Abu Dhabi Grand Prix after this week then, and that is the season wrapped up then. But at the moment, we're just getting ourselves lined up then for the start of the sprint, and we are ready to get going here in Brazil, I think. Are we? The 5 red lights, I think, are on. I can't see the 5 red lights. Hopefully they are on somewhere. And away we go then for the 12-lap sprint event here in Brazil. Then New Zealand Cam gets a good start, but so does Glocks in P2. Tango then is fighting his way through as well, staying in P3. Going around the outside, then another Ferrari's got the move then on the soft compound tyres up into P2. Fantastic stuff indeed. Look at that. The position changes because I needed to switch over to that. Then great start indeed for Tango on the soft compound tyres. We've got Dylan there with a problem. The Kaz has retired then on the S's section. A virtual safety car has been deployed before we get to turn 4, and I'm not quite sure what happened there. Dylan has dropped down 6 places. Unfortunately for Dylan, he's had a difficult time then through the S's of the opening lap then, and I'm not quite sure what happened there. Kaz has retired from the session, so he's had a problem there. He's DNF'd the car there in the S's section. I'm not quite sure what happened, if there was contact or if he just went off into the wall. Unfortunately for Kaz there, he started in P18, I think it was, and is 17, I think it was actually, but he's not going to be able to take part in this sprint event for some reason. We didn't see what happened. Of course, it was in the background, then we was watching the start of the race, but nonetheless, he's got to get himself back composed for the start of the Grand Prix in 12 laps time. So VSC is out. Craig R has gained place, but he's still at the back of the field there. Unfortunately, Craig R, he has got himself past Kaz, of course, who has not been taking part in this race anymore, in this sprint event, I should say, because he had an accident there at turn 1, or turn 2 really, through the S's section. Then over the line we go to finish off lap 1. But of course the VSC is still out there. Is anybody going to come into the pit lane? Craig R is into the pits, so he is deciding it's time for a strategy change. I'm not sure if there's damage there for Craig R as well. Potentially that is the reason for his pit stop there, is not to wait to strategy call there to pit in a sprint race. But I think, yeah, there is a wing change there for the AlphaTauri. The race has resumed, though, I should say. We'll go back to the rest of the pack then, because we're going through into Sector 2 then for the second time in this sprint event. Then New Zealand Cam trying to lead the way very nicely. Of course, Tanker on the soft compound tyres is going to have extra pace as well. But of course, actually, I didn't see the Mercedes was also in the soft compound tyres. So it's Tango and New Zealand Cam in a straight fight for the race or the sprint win. Dylan there looking to recover then after that difficult start as well, but he's got himself back in the fold, I think. And then we've got Mumford there into P11. He's got himself up 1 place. The General's lost out 2 places there, out of the top 10. Of course, the top 8 of the scoring the points then in this race. as down the inside of Kamara. Racer goes fast there in the penultimate corner. He's got to move up into P7, then up 4 places. A yellow flag then for V Todd there at the bottom of the hill. Then he's got to get himself back underway. Tango sets the fastest lap of the race. Then he's all over the back now of New Zealand Cam. The DRS has now been enabled. They'll have DRS down towards turn 4 as we go through the S's section. Then they need to be careful. Irvine has got himself past Kamara. Has he? No, he's not got himself past Kamara. We're looking at the wrong angle here because now Dylan has got himself round the outside of McLaren, and Kamara is back up into P8 there where he started the sprint event in the first place. And God, it's all action all over the place now with these sprint events. And Kamara, they're back up into P8 there after dropping down to P10 momentarily through the S's section. He's got himself back up into the point scoring positions there at this stage of the sprint as well. Good stuff from him. Favre there has gained 4 places there from the start of the sprint event. He's got himself up into P7 there. He's scoring 2 points as it stands. And can he hold on to the DRS then of the Williams 2 ahead of him then and help himself get pulled along as Ginner's had a problem there. Ginner's had a problem in sector 2 on the S's section. Not the S's section. The S's section was the beginning of the lap. But he's got himself back underway then as Ginner. But unfortunately, that has cost him big time indeed. Then I'm not quite sure if there was a helping hand, but he can't easily spin on those curbs. There's Mumford has got himself past his teammate. Kamara is getting himself past Farf as well now as New Zealand Cam sets the fastest lap of the race. Then Potstuff has now set that fastest lap then. Good stuff from him. Dylan's got himself past Farf. Has he down to turn 1? It's going to be the tight squeeze then for the Alfa Romeo. Farf goes over the curb there and through the S's section. Dylan is side by side with the Alpine then, and they're going to get on the power as quickly as possible then. Through into turn 4 we go then, side by side for the Alpine and for the Alfa Romeo. Then into turn 4 we go, and Dylan has got the move. Always contact between the two of them. There's pinched wheels then, and Dylan is off the. Well, he had to go off the circuit. Favre's gone off the circuit as well. He's let Dylan back through momentarily as Gordo's out of the race. Gordo's had a problem then through sector 2. Safety car has been deployed, and I'm not quite sure what's happened there to Gordo. Where is his car? I can't even see his car. Jesus Christ, he must have been flying off the circuit there. Not quite sure what happened. And it seems like Dopey Lemons was caught up in that as well. And I think they might have caught wheels there going through turns 4 and 5. And that, of course, you can easily do that as well. But it's not a part of the circuit that's probably... I know a lot of people do tend to go for overtakes there, but it's not part of the circuit that is designed for overtaking. It's a very narrow part of the circuit, isn't it? So unfortunately Gordo out of the sprint event, and we didn't see what happened, but we can imagine what happened. But yeah, unfortunately that has put paid to Gordo's attempts there to get himself in the order then for this sprint event. Into the pits comes Irvine, as does Moomin. Irvine's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's going to cost him dearly as well. Moomin in the pit, so is Reflection, so is Mr. Elite, so is Ginner. And I think everybody coming in there at the back of the order there to get themselves a new set of tyres and potentially a new front end for those who need it. Dopey Lemons has stayed out, so I don't think he's got any damage there from any incident there with Gordo if he was involved. But yeah, he stays out. He's up into P11 now after starting P13. But yeah, safety car has been deployed then. We've got to get ourselves sorted there. Kragar has been helped massively by this as well. He can get himself back in the order now. Can fight once again. There's Kragar, car number 42, or is it? Yeah, it is 42 or 24. I was going to say he's got himself back past the team. So he's out behind Ginner. Then Irvine has got that 5-second penalty in the pit lane. That will demote him down the order then massively as well, because of course that will be added onto his race time unless he pits again. He could pit again and serve that penalty, and then join up to the back of the safety car queue. But I'm not sure if he's listening. So there we go. So, all right, then we'll get ourselves back underway very shortly. Like I said, 18 drivers left in this sprint event now, as New Zealand Cam has not been able to stretch his legs, I should say. He's been under pressure, actually, from Tango there on the laps we have had so far. Irvine once again then to sort out that penalty. He has got that sorted now. Hopefully he can catch up to the queue quickly enough then to get him race resumed and back onto the soft compound tyres we go for the McLaren driver down into P18 then after that second pit stop then in the sprint. Like I was saying, it's not good to pit in the sprint, but if you need to, you have to, don't you really? So he has served that 5-second penalty, now got himself sorted and out of the way, and now can get himself back into the safety car crocodile to carry on this sprint event. 6 laps have been completed. Unfortunately, we haven't had 6 laps of green flag racing. We've had about 3 of them. Yeah, we had a VSC at the very beginning then for Kaz's incident then, and the same then for a safety car, sorry, then for Gordo's incident as well on lap 4. So hopefully we can get ourselves back racing then at the end of this lap. Safety car is coming in, and we can get ourselves resumed then in Brazil for the rest of this sprint event. Halfway distance then for this sprint, and we're ready to get going now. So let's have a look and see what we can do then as we restart the sprint now for on lap 7, I should say. Cam is looking to get himself a good restart here as we get ourselves back underway then in Brazil there. Tango there didn't miss a beat then on that restart. He's still stuck with the Mercedes driver as we go down towards turn 1. Can Tango look for a move there down the inside then? No, not quite. He's a bit too far back then. Then he moves down the order. Jenner has got himself past 2. He's got himself past Mr. Elite and Reflection, has he? As he goes through the S's section, he's kept the position just about. Mr. Elite's going to stick his nose back in there as we go side by side through turn 3. And he's got the position as Jenner. Good stuff indeed. As New Zealand Cam has lost the lead. I completely missed it. Tango has got himself up into P1 there with a fantastic move, but I didn't even see it, I'm afraid. Cam is now down to P2 then after being overtaken by the Aston Martin driver then. And Tango, can he hold on to that position then for the rest of this sprint event? Can he take P1 then as Jenner is off the circuit again there up the hill there in sector 2? Not quite sure how he's gone off there. Irvine is, of course, Irvine I thought was dropped down the places, but he's just recovering after that extra pit stop as well. And the safety car that Junior is having a few troubles then in sector 2, it looks like, as like I was saying, Cam there lost the lead then to the Aston Martin Tango, and now trying to chase him down there, trying to get that back, trying to get the lead back then from the Aston Martin driver as we go on to lap 8 then. 5 laps to go here in this sprint event. As now across the line to start off lap 8 then of this sprint in Brazil, and now down the hill DRS will not be enabled for 2 laps after the safety car as Moomin has been passed by Reflection. Has he that down the inside then into the first turn, and Moomin holds on, but now he's got the inside of Reflection. Mr. Elite picks up a 3-second battery. That is bad news for him. Jinner is back in the pit lane as Dylan and Farf are fighting as well then for P8. Then Jinner retires in the pits as well. Unfortunately, that's pitting quick there for Jinner. Down the inside goes Dylan then on Farf. This time he's got the move done, I think, has he? He's on the medium compound tyres, and there's contact between Farf and Dylan as well, and there's contact again between Mumford and Dylan, Mumford and Farf there, and Mumford out of this race as well, and that's another safety car. And blimey, yeah, that was that was action-packed, that was, but yeah, Dylan and Farf fighting there, and Farf has come off worse as well. And I think, I'm not quite sure, Dylan was already through there, but there seemed to be contact between Farf's front tyre and Dylan's rear tyre then in turn 5. And then the resulting contact caused Farf to slow down, of course, and then Mumford goes into the back of him, which was the cause of the incident there. Safety car number 2, VSC, of course, was the first one that came out there at the beginning of this race. Again, Jinner there unfortunately decided to pit and quit at the wrong time because he could have stayed in this one, and now we're down to 16 runners then in this sprint race, and that is that then. Mr. Elite there has got himself that penalty, then that 3-second penalty is going to cost him, I think, at this stage of the race, especially with the late safety car as well. Broken Lemon went into the pit lane, so he decided to put them on the medium compound tyres, and he's going to go on to a fresh set of softs, I would imagine. Is there a wing change there for the Alfa Romeo? There isn't. Oh yes, there is. There's a wing change there for the Alfa Romeo. It did have damage then, potentially from the first incident there with Gordo, which caused the first safety car. But yeah, unfortunately for Dopey Lemons, having to make another unscheduled stop, but this time then he's on a fresh set of soft compound tyres and should be able to get to the end of the race, or the sprint race that is, from here. But like I said, he's just got to catch up to the safety car queue then. Safety car will be out then for this lap, and it will be in at the end of lap 10 regardless of if anybody's caught up to the queue or not, because we've got to have 2 laps of racing before the end of the race there, between the safety car coming in and the race finishing as well. So the safety car will be in at the end of lap 10, and we can get ourselves back underway. So yeah, if you're just joining us, 1 VSC, and this is the second safety car, and this is only 12 laps. So imagine what the feature race or the actual Grand Prix is going to be like in about, well, hopefully in about 5 minutes time, but we never know because of how many safety cars we've got here. Yeah, this is only the sprint event. Then the feature of the Grand Prix itself is coming up 36 laps of that one in the next few minutes. Then, so yeah, it's going to be action packed. It's going to be anything like the sprint. But hopefully the drivers can calm themselves down a bit then for the sprint event. Then after the sprint event, that is, and can just get their heads down and focus on the Grand Prix. Then of course it's 3 times the length. Then is the Grand Prix of the sprint. Then 12 laps for the sprint, 36 laps for the Grand Prix. So, and we've got well, just wait for the safety car to come back in. Everybody is back in the train. Dopey Levels is caught up at the back there, and now we can get ourselves hopefully racing again then. As I'm not quite sure what our Glocks is up to. Then he's having a few problems there, trying to keep up with the top 2, and Bert Mylander there in the safety car. But hopefully Bert will be disappearing off into the pit lane then at the end of this lap, and we can get ourselves back underway. So I'm just trying to have a break because I know if it's going to be like this in the feature, I'm going to be my voice is going to get a bit tired. I would imagine. But there we go. Then down the hill then to finish off sector 2 then on lap 10, and safety car should be in this lap. Then we can have another sprint. This time a 2-lap sprint to the finish line now. And regardless of how many people crash out then on these last 2 laps, there will not be any more safety cars in the sprint. We will see what happens in the feature race in just a few minutes time, but at the moment we've got 2 laps then to finish off this sprint event now. Tango then is setting the precedent there, or when to drop the hammer. Then he looks like he's gone already, has he? He has gone already, I think, and yep, he has gone, and he's got a 6-second gap to New Zealand. Can Cam get the race lead back then in the next 2 laps? Then Potstaff trying to put the pressure on Glocks then into turn 1, and can't quite get himself through then into the S's section. New Zealand Cam picks up a 3-second penalty. That is bad news for him. That is 3 warnings then that have been added on to his race time reflection, and Farf battling away. Farf, of course, the one of the factors there in that last safety car. Irvine Mumford is out of the race there. Dopey Lemons and Irvine are battling away. And here comes Dopey Lemons down the inside of 2 into turn 4. He's made the move on V-Top, but he couldn't get himself past Irvine there. Stays in P15 for the time being there, but blimey, that was close indeed there. Tango doesn't have to worry too much about New Zealand Cam now, because Cam's penalty, as he's jumping him out of it there. Hopefully that's just mine. Yeah, Cam's penalty then will demote him down the order there by 3 seconds then at the checkered flag, and we're on lap 11 now. That 3 seconds, especially on this with the closeness of the grid now with the safety car at the end, that is going to demote him very far down the order there. Same for Mr. Elite as well in P9. They've both got 3-second penalties that are going to be added onto their race time at the end of lap 12. Dylan's got himself past Kamara, has he? It's close indeed, and here comes Mr. Elite as well with his penalty, and that is going to be added on, like I was saying. But Dylan, he doesn't want to worry about that. He wants to fight, doesn't he, Mr. Elite? He's going to go down the inside end of turn 1. It's going to be close indeed then, and he has got the move, has he, now through the S section of turn 2. And he's off the track then. Oh, is that in the background there? Moomin's off the track. No, it's Craig R off the track then. He's let his teammate Moomin through into P10 at the moment then. Moomin is on the charge then, as Mr. Elite is on the charge as well. They're going to get down the inside of Kamara Racer into turn 4. He's got the move done then, up into P8 then. Kamara then is fighting off Moomin as well for the last point. Well, no, it's not the last points paying position. It's actually P9 as Moomin and Kamara come together then. Kamara's off the circuit, and there's contact between the AlphaTauri then and the Aston Martin, and unfortunately, as New Zealand Cam has lost out 2 places then in this lap as well. Kamara is going to be starting P16 as it stands there, but I think he might be a bit unhappy with what's happened there. Favre and Dopey Lemons are switching places there as we come up the hill then to finish off the sprint event. Finally, we've got to the end of the sprint event. It's been very long indeed, but here comes Tango then up the hill. Can he hold on? Can Glocks then steal it away then from the Aston Martin driver? It's going to be close indeed, off across the line, and here we go then. It's going to be a photo finish. Tango by 11 thousandths of a second claims the victory of the sprint event then here in Brazil. Fantastic finish indeed. 11 thousandths of a second then to Glocks then in P2. Potstaff there in P3, McConey P4, Sweet in P and P5. Dylan in P6 there, moving in P7. New Zealand Cam with that penalty drops down to P8. He does get a point though, just about. Even with that 3-second penalty there. Craigar up 11 places into P9. Great stuff in even Craigar as well. Fantastic driving indeed from the AlphaTauri. Even with that first pit stop, then he looked like he was out of the order then. But with the safety cars bringing him back into play, that has been absolutely brilliant then from Craigar, getting himself into the top 10 then for the start of the Grand Prix, which is coming up in a few minutes' time. Well, that was a sprint and a half, wasn't it? So there's pretty much just 3 sprint events in 12 laps because of the safety cars. But there's your top 10 order then, or there's your order then for the final classification of the sprint event. Then we'll have a quick look at the timings as well. But there, Tango there from P3 on the grid there, got a great start there, got himself up into P2 and then fought with Cam and the restart of this after the safety cars then. There is your top 8 there. Cam does finish in the top 8 then, even with the 3-second penalty then, which was added onto his race time at the end of that one then. Unfortunately, Mumford, Jenner, Gordo and Kaz retired then from the sprint event as well with either technical issues or a DNF then with a collision with a wall. So hopefully that doesn't happen for them in the feature race, which is coming up now in just a few seconds time.
BoxBox Hub is an absolute essential for any Formula One fan, and the entire app with new widgets, statistics, localized race schedules, and countdowns, you name it. They even have support for Apple's new live activities feature with real-time updates during a race right on the lock screen, and honestly, some of the best looking widgets I've seen.
Right then, we are back then from the sprint event then, and we've got 36 laps now to unfold for the Grand Prix itself. And if it's going to be anything like, or even half as busy as the sprint event, it's going to be a long one indeed. But hopefully the antics have been calmed down now from that sprint, and we can have a nice, cool and calm race itself. But I'm not sure we'll have that. I'm sure there'll be some drivers that are trying to fight for some positions, fight for some points, and fight for some places here in this feature. Then sprint, of course, is only 12 laps. The feature race now, well, the Grand Prix is 36 laps. Then Tango leads us away, of course, finishing P1 in the sprint. He is on. We'll have a look at the tyre compounds as well. There's a lot of drivers in on different compounds, but there's only 2 compounds being used, and that is the hards and the mediums then at this stage of the Grand Prix, which of course is the first lap. So there we go. We've got Tango then. Tango Potstar from Maconi at Swindler P there on the hard compound tyres in the top 5. Maglocks then in P2 on the mediums, same for Dylan in P6, same for Craigar in P9 and Favre in P12, and then we've got Jenner and Gordo P18 and P19 then on the mediums as well. Everybody else is on the hard compound tyre, so they are going to be looking for a nice calm first stint then to of course go further in the first stint of this Grand Prix, and then of course switch on to either the mediums or the soft compound tyres. If it stays dry, which we don't know what the weather's going to be like for this race, if it stays dry, then we're going to have to use 2 different compounds of dry tyres, I should say. So either the hards or the mediums, either the hards and the softs, either the mediums and the hards, or the mediums and the softs as well. But we'll have to wait and see who is going to do what then, and which strategy is going to be prevailing then in this Grand Prix. But Tango then is going to lead us away then for the start, as Craigar and Dopey Lemons have been disqualified then from the formation lap. They've had an incident there through Sector 2, which is bad news for them. Their tyres are going to be a bit colder than those on the grid as we start off this 36 laps here in Brazil for the final Brazilian Grand Prix then of ALR this season, that is, because we have of course had gold. No, it's not. We've got bronze tomorrow, haven't we? I've completely forgot. Sorry about that. I thought I was commentating on bronze for that split second. Of course, we've got bronze tomorrow night as well. It's going to be another sprint event here in Brazil, 7:30 p.m. there on Tuesday. Tune into that one tomorrow. But of course, this is the Silver League and Silver Season 6. Now that I've got myself sorted, Silver Season 6 round 20, the feature race or the actual Grand Prix is about to get underway then, as we get ourselves lined up on the grid for the I think for the final time, hopefully, unless there's a red flag. But there we go then. Here we go. Tango then is going to lead us away. I can't see the 5 red lights. I can't see from his screen then. The 5 red lights are on now, and oh no. The 5 red lights are on now, and away we go then for the Grand Prix of Brazil as we go down towards turn 1. Once again, Tango trying to cover off the Ferrari of Glocks then into turn 1. Mr. Elite has retired then before we even get to the turn 1. Kamara Race has got a 5 second penalty, for a collision with Mr. Elite. Glocks is off the circuit from P2. And what has happened here? This is absolute... It's a safety car. I don't know if that was that a safety car that was brought out from was it one of the starting grid light glitches again, or Mr. Elite is out of the race, and I'm not quite sure what is happening here. To be honest, it's carried on from the sprint, hasn't it? And the safety car is back out, and. Yeah, I can't tell you anything about what's just happened, to be honest. So there we go. Unfortunately, Glocks has dropped to the back of the field and from P2. I'm not quite sure if there was a helping hand or if he lost it through the S's section. He seemed to be dropping down the field through the S's. Mr. Elite, I think, DNF before we got to turn 1. And I might be the cause of the safety car, unless it was a timing rights glitch, which has happened before. Yeah, I can't really tell you anything more than that, I'm afraid. Tango leads the way still. Potstuff is into P2. New Zealand Cam has gained 2 places then from his starting place of P8, wasn't it? Craig O has kept a hold of that place as well there, even with the colder tyres then from the start. Same for Dopey Levens in P10. So those two staying in the point 10 positions from the start. Safety car has now picked up the leader. So we can get ourselves back on the way. Kaz is in the pit lane for a wing change, and I think Camaro is serving that 5 second penalty that he picked up for a collision with Mr. Elite. So I'm not quite sure if it was Camaro and Mr. Elite that were involved in that main straight. It wasn't even turn 1 incident. Yeah, that will I'm sure be looked at after the race. But Camaro there will have to try and come through the field there from P19. Same for Kaz there, who he actually started P20, so he's already gained 2 places there as Kaz. Glocks, I'm not sure what happened to Glocks either, but he was in P2 into turn 1, and then through the S's section he just dropped down the field, so I'm not sure if there was contact with another car. I think Tango was far enough ahead there to not be at fault for anything there, but I'm really not sure what is going on, to be honest, because I completely didn't see anything. So if anybody can enlighten me, then please do. But Gordo said there was an incident off the start. Yeah, I think that was Mr. Elite, or your teammate Gordo. Mr. Elite, then he was the one who has retired from this Grand Prix before we even got to turn 1, which was not one that we see very often, I suppose you could say, but an interesting one to say the least. So very odd, that one. But Kamara now is going to catch up to the queue. We should be able to get ourselves actually racing then on lap 4. Which will be, of course, the end of this lap. Then the safety car should be able to come back into the pit lane as all the drivers then have caught up to the safety car queue. It's pretty much a rolling start now for this actual race, because the whatever happened at before turn 1, then on the opening lap, then nullified the racing then through turns 2 and 3. So interesting stuff indeed. Like I said, I'll have to watch it back, and when we've got all of the footage in and everything, I'm sure there'll be some people who are going to report something or other there. But it seemed to be all over the place then for that one. Kamara's got himself past Kaz then, somehow under safety car, as we're just trying to catch up to the safety car queue then, and we can get ourselves back racing then, finally racing, I should say, for this Grand Prix. So we're going to have 3 laps then, just cruising around pretty much, 3 and a bit laps then, 3 and 9/10, I suppose you could say. After that, after the lap 1 incident there involving Mr. Elite and Kamara Racer, which I think will be investigated after the race has finished. Right then, Bert Mylander is going to get himself sorted and get himself out of the way so we can get some actual green flag racing here, and Tango is going to lead us away then for the restart here in Brazil. So we've now only got 33 laps left to go instead of 36. So we're going to just get ourselves up the hill, then wait for the safety car to get themselves safely into the pit lane and out of danger of any F1 cars speeding into the back of it. as Tango then is deciding to drop the hammer. I think he's gone. He has gone as well now, and that was a great restart indeed from Tango. He's gaining on Potstuff then, and Potstuff is under the podium is under pressure there from Dylan into turn 1, side by side as they cross the line, then into turn 1 on the medium compound tyres. Dylan goes down the inside then on the Williams driver. Has he got the move done? I can't tell from this angle. He has got the move done. New Zealand Cam getting past the other Williams of Sweet and P then into P5 then for New Zealand Cam. And looking strong indeed, and like I said, trying to gain through the field. Then after that 3 second penalty was added, 3 second penalty was added onto his time then for the sprint event. Then of course affected his grid position then for the start of the race. Then far from to get himself past Sweet and P as well. Then on the medium compound tyres, then into P6 goes the Alpine driver, and now onto the back of the Mercedes once again. I think like I said, the hard runners there just biding their time then in this opening phase. It would help the hard runners as well. Maybe even extend their stint there to go onto the softs towards the end of the race, and that will of course be very helpful indeed to make them go fast at the end of the race, that is. That is a strategy in my eyes. But there we go then. Sweet and there is going to try and cling onto the back there of Farf on the medium compound tyres. Those on the mediums there are going to be very quick indeed. Potstow has lost a 1 second gap there to the race leader. Tango here comes Dylan now on the inside onto the main straight then for the 5th time. As Tango sets the fastest lap of the race there, 1 second is the gap there. DRS of course not enabled then for 2 laps after the safety car, as New Zealand Cam gets himself past the Williams of McConey into P4. Then he's on a charge then is the Mercedes driver, and now trying to get himself past Potstuff as well as we go down towards Messina Delago for the 5th time. Grey Gard's got himself past his teammate. That Grey Gard doing well at the moment into the top 8. As it stands there, he's having to fight off his teammate as well as Dopey Lewins as well, it looks like, into turn 5 as well. Then into sector 2 we go. Then Craig has got himself through. He's gained a place then off his starting grid spot, and now trying to chase down Sweet MGP if he can get himself within that 1 second window. As Jinner's had a problem again. Jinner's had a problem through sector 2 once again. It's the same spot as well for Jinner. He's really not having a great time through sector 2 in this Brazilian Grand Prix. He's got himself back underway. There's no damage there to the Haas car, but I think it's just damage to the pride then of the Haas driver, unfortunately, which is a big shame, because Jinner is he's very strong on his day there, but he's just not having the right amount of traction, the right amount of time through sector 2. Then in this race, the setup might not be in his favour. That is, Dylan now is all over the back of Tango. Then those single compound tyres are fired up nicely. Indeed, DRS is now enabled as we cross the line to start lap 6 then of 36. Carrying on up and move then to the race lead, then down towards turn 4 on lap 6. Then here we go, DRS is enabled then down towards turn 4 from turn 3 as we go down with the pit exit comes out as well. But Dylan is a bit too far back, I think, to make a move. New Zealand Cam is too far back though. He's made the move on Potstuff, has he? He has got himself up into P3 then in the Mercedes there, cruising along nicely. But DRS like flashing away on that Mercedes as well though, which shows that he's harvesting energy then, he's harvesting the DRS then to try and restore some battery there in that Mercedes car, and of course that will try and power him along to catch up to the top 2. But that might be an indicator that he's trying to get himself through the order then so quickly that he's just burnt up all of his battery already in the first 6 laps. Then that's bad news indeed for himself. But if he can recharge that behind, if he can get in the DRS range there of Dylan and pull himself along, that would be very helpful indeed then for the Mercedes driver. I think he's within range, which is good stuff indeed. And he will be joining up to the order then of the top 2 in just a few moments' time, I think. Here comes Dylan though. Dylan can claim the lead of the race here on to lap 7 now as he goes down the inside then of the Aston Martin and Tango. They're different strategies, of course, at this stage of the Grand Prix, but he's got the move, has he? He has done up into the lead of the Grand Prix. Is Dylan there in the Alfa Romeo there, takes the lead away from Tango, and now down towards turn 4. The roles have reversed though. Tango has now got DRS then on the Alfa Romeo. Then can he get himself back up into the lead? But I think Dylan, with the medium compound tyres, has got enough purchase, enough pace to get himself or keep himself in the lead of the race there into turn 4. Good stuff indeed. Vic Cordo's got himself past Todd. Todd dropping down like a stone, unfortunately. He dropped down to P16 then after getting passed by Irvine as well. Unfortunately for the Alpine driver, they're just carrying on and trying to keep it clean in this race. He's carried on as well, but he's now 7 seconds off the back of the pack. Now he's going to have to hope for another safety car, which based on the previous experience we saw in the sprint, I'm sure will be underway very soon, but hopefully not in my case. Now Tango is trying to keep up with Dylan, because Dylan on those medium compound tyres has got some great pace indeed, and he's showing it as well. He's got a 6/10 of a second gap there to the Aston Martin, who's now under pressure from Tango. He's watching his mirrors there, is Tango, rather than looking at trying to make a move for the attack for the race lead once again, as the Mercedes of New Zealand Cam all over the back there of the Aston Martin. Here comes Tango then to make a move. Can he down the inside then back into turn one? The roles have reversed once again. I tried to say reverse I tried to say reverse in reverse as well, it looks like. But Tango there retakes the lead then into turn one, then ahead of Dylan back again. Once again, they resume their fight. Then these two, of course, P2 and P3 in the driver's standings, and of course their constructors as well are fighting for the title as well. That's still open and it's still on the cards then for the silver season as well. But Dylan there has to slot into P2. We did see New Zealand Cam have a bit of a slide then. Official Elite has left the session. Unfortunately, Mr. Elite was out of the race before he got to turn one on the first lap, and New Zealand Cam did have a bit of a slide through the SS section, but he's now got himself composed once again there to try and make a move. Then yellow flags, it's for Glocks. Then Glocks has had a problem, then it's all gone wrong for Glocks then in this one. He started P2 then, and he had a problem there through the SS section on the first lap, and now has had a spin in sector 2 as well. They're demoting him down to P18. It's a big shame indeed, because Glocks was looking strong indeed, and of course in the sprint was looking good as well. He got P2 in the sprint, but it's just not gone well for him so far in the feature race. Only 8 laps in though, we've got some action still to unfold here, and here comes Dylan once again then, potentially for the race lead there down the main straight with DRS enabled then, and he's going to go down the inside then into turn 1. He's alongside, he's ahead now into turn 1. Tango trying to hold it around the outside. Can he hold it around the outside? Then he can. He's got the position still, and Dylan is off onto the curbs as well. New Zealand Cam going to stick his nose in there as well, and there's contact between the two of them. There's contact again, and I think Cam there has dropped down the field there. Dylan is now back up into P2. Here comes Potstuff as well then into turn 4. We go 4. Oh, there's 4 of them all going into turn 1, and Tango has been pushed off the circuit there slightly, and Potstuff is trying to go. Where is Potstuff going? He seemed to be just pushing the Tango off the circuit then, as Tango has kept hold of P3, has he? Just about then. Potstuff trying to go around the outside now. Farf has stuck his nose in there as well, and this is going to be chaos if it goes wrong, but thankfully so far they've kept it on the grey stuff, and blimey, that was an epic racing indeed there. Tango lost the lead, and I'm not quite sure if he was trying to hold it around the outside of Dylan, wasn't he, into turn 1 and 2. He did have the position, it looked like, but then New Zealand Cam stuck his nose in there as well, and he got himself up into P2 ahead of Tango now. Tango did pick up a 3-second penalty as well. I'm not quite sure how he picked that up, but we'll have to look at that. Will be looked at, I guess, after the race as well, as race director and everything like that. Dylan has the lead there, but New Zealand Cam now is catching on those hard compound tires, but he looks to cover the inside then into turn 1 this time. This is where Tango went around the outside, but New Zealand Cam can't make the move just yet. He has to sit in behind the Alfa Romeo once again then, and try and bide his time, bide his move, bide his there's a yellow flag for Irvine. No, it's Mumford and Reflection have gone off the circuit. They're at turn 1. Mumford getting himself back on the circuit, I think. It seems to be. He has got himself back underway then, as Glocks has gone through as well. Mumford down to P18, then he's got himself back underway. No damage, it doesn't look like, for either driver, thankfully. But I think Mumford there letting the Mercedes back through then after whatever happened was an incident there on his fault, on his part. So good sportsmanship there from Mumford, I believe. But of course I didn't see what happened, so there we go. Right, you see the Cam, they're still in P2 then, right behind Dylan there. Dylan is controlling the pace of this race so far, but of course those medium compound tyres will wear out quicker than those on the hards. Well, the hards will last a bit longer, won't they, in this first stint? We'd expect that is, but of course sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Tango there will be, I'm not quite sure what happened to Tango then. He got a bit, well, he seemed to be getting a bit squirrely there through sector 1 I should say, then on the previous lap. Then he's got himself composed and back underway again. Five up 8 places there into P4, but he's not got any ERS to play with. Then that Potstuff will be very interested in that as well, but Potstuff also has no electrical energy to play with either, so there we go. Right, here we go then, the battle resumes then. The top 8 are all in this battle as it stands, and they're all within half a second of each other pretty much, so it's close indeed, as we can pretty much see the top 8 all flying through the same corner there, as there they are. Dylan leads the way still. He's up 5 places there from his starting position then after the sprint event as well. New Zealand Cam has gained 6 places then after that 3-second penalty, demoted him down to P8 then from the end of the sprint then, but of course for the start of this feature race as well. So now he's got to try and fight back. He has fought back to P2, and he's going to be biding his time and thinking about when he can make a move there for the lead of the race then once again. Right then. I think Favre could win. It says Serious Mushroom. I hope not, because that would be terrible. So there we go. New Zealand Cam there. He's dropped back a bit from Dylan there. Dylan looking good in this stage of the Grand Prix. And at the moment, controlling the pace, like I was saying earlier in this race, as Cam there is bearing down then with the DRS assistance there, but he can't get himself past Pop Stuff. Oh no, what's happened there to Tango? Tango's been spun off the circuit, then I think he's down to P8, then he's got to get himself back underway, and Favre is involved again. I think it's, oh my goodness, like I was saying, the action doesn't stop here in Brazil, does it? Pop Stuff now trying to get himself down around the outside of Favre there, and they've lost out to the top two, and Pop Stuff is off the circuit. Now McConey goes through for P4. And this is blimey. This is blimey. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can say about it, really. And I'm not quite sure what happened to Tango. Then we just saw the end of it as into turn one. He lost the car. I'm not quite sure if it was him losing the car or if it was a helping hand from someone behind, which was Favre. But I won't mention any names. But there we go. So now Favre there, they've lost out massively. They're 2 seconds now with the gap there to the top two. It's going to be a race between these top two, I think, now, unfortunately, because Tango there was in this P3 position. Been either nerfed off the circuit or lost the car, and unfortunately has dropped down to P9 there, even with the penalty as well. That will promote him down the order. Of course, there's still only we're only a third of the way through this race so far. Into the pits comes Favre. So Favre calling it a day on the mediums already, and deciding to get himself into the box as well. Potstuff has also called it a day there on the half compact tyres. So potentially he's got some damage there that he needs to fix on that Haas, and potentially to go to the medium compact tyres to the end. It'll be a long stretch indeed. Yeah, it might be the only way he can go now. A wing change there for Favre, so I think that was that is reflecting that the damage there was caused by that turn one incident, which of course spun Tango as well. Gordo is in the pit lane as well. He's getting a wing change also, so there's a lot of wing change activity going on down there. But they've got themselves sorted and back underway. Gino has got himself back up into the order as well now as well, which is good stuff indeed for Gino. Oh, a bit of calm would be nice in this race, but I don't think we're going to get it. There we go. Craig R is up into P5. Fantastic stuff for Craig R. Like I was saying, he's flying through. I don't want a commentator's curse in. Same for Sweetwinger P. He's doing a great job indeed as well. Vitor has got himself up into P11 there, past Kaz in Sector 2 there, trying to chase down Kamara Racing for that final points paying position as it stands. And at the moment, it is... I'm hoping we get a bit of calm before the storm, or a bit of calm and no storm, to be honest. Dylan has lost the lead, but he's going to try and fight back now on the Mercedes of Cam. Round the outside he goes into turn one. He's got the move done and up into P1 once again there for the Alfa Romeo. Great stuff indeed. Tango's got himself past P11 for P6, recovering in this race after that spin. In these SS sections there on the previous lap, then he's got himself back up to P6 there already then, and now he's going to try and fight for P5 there. He's trying to get himself up to Craig R as quickly as possible and try and get himself back up into the order there. Potentially still a podium on the cards there for Tango, so it's not all doom and gloom just yet. Oh God, I just need a breather really. Vitor can't get himself past. Oh, he's going very close indeed to the diffuser of that Aston Martin though. He can't get himself past for P10 just yet. Glocks has got himself past Reflection though into turn 4 there, into P13 after having to recover then in this race. Unfortunately for the Ferrari there, with that difficult first few opening laps then, he's got himself back into P13. I think with the pace that the Ferrari's got, he could get himself back in the points pair positions as well. So it's not all doom and gloom for Glocks just yet. And you could see Glocks then getting some points, which would be nice indeed, as I think Glocks, the original Glock, got himself some points then in that famous Brazilian Grand Prix. As Cam has had a problem, and I think he's lost out to that DRS then of Dylan. Dylan is now over 1 second away then, and that could be great news indeed for Dylan to just calm his race down, stretch his legs and just compose himself once again there. But I think Cam has done enough to get himself back in that 1 second window, so regardless of what I've said, you can just do good stuff indeed. Kamara is in the pit lane. He's decided to call it a day on the medium compact tyres, and now going to be switching on to the hard, I would imagine, for the rest of this race then. So an early pit stop then. Favre is already pit as well. So Favre and Kamara, I think, going for the early strategy calls then. Although it's a wing change for Kamara as well. There's some problems there for the Aston Martin driver there. It's not been good at all. Both the Aston Martins have had problems already this race, and we're only 15 laps in. We're not even halfway through just yet. So there we go. We'll switch on to the tyre compound so we can see what everyone is using. But like I said, the top pit one, apart from Kaz has made a pit stop there under the safety car. But apart from Kaz, then the top 15 have are all on the tyres that they've started the race on. Then the likes of Favre, Potstuff, Gordo, and Kamara have all had to make a pit stop there for a wing change and for a new set of boots as well. So Glock's now up into P11 then after the pit stops there for Camaro, and he's now trying to chase down VTOD for that 10th place, that final points pair position as well. So looking good to recovering well in this race as the Williams are switching places then into turn 1, and McConey has lost out to his teammate Swindon P. Then of course we'll be able to come back at him. They're down towards turn 4, the Cena de Largo, and Tango's up into P5. They get themselves past Pragar. Pragar is now fighting off Dopey Lemons as well as we go into turn 4. It could be close indeed, it's tight indeed, and down the outside, round the inside, all over the place, and Dopey Lemons has got the move done up into P6, and they're getting themselves past the AlphaTauri driver for the time being. But great stuff indeed, great racing indeed there from those drivers too. Mumford has passed Kaz there down towards turn 4 as well, up into P12 there. Mumford there looking to get himself back in this race. Pops up and got past Farf on the medium compound tyres there, and up into P15. They're trying to recover in this race as well, as Farf there is not going to give up this ghost one just yet, is he there? But around the outside, or around the inside through there is not where you want to stick his nose. But there we go then. Kaz has been passed now by Reflection there into P13. Goes the Mercedes driver, as Kaz just getting out of the way then of the Mercedes flying through. Tango's now on the back of the Williams pair and trying to chase down McConey then for P4 now here in this race as we near the halfway point. He's up into P4, back up into P4 I should say, after having to recover then after the spin there at turn 1 a few laps ago then, and now trying to get himself past Swindon P there for the podium places as well. Serious Mushroom has said this is fun. So for fun this, he said. Not pot stuff, sorry, Glocks is in the pit lane. They called it there on the medium compound tyres. This is fun, says Serious Mushroom. It has been pretty epic, to be fair, the racing here tonight. Not epic in terms of the quality sometimes, but sometimes it's been a bit disastrous. But there's been action galore here in Brazil tonight. With the sprint there and in the opening stages of the Grand Prix as well. I'm sure when the strategies have all unfolded, when we've got some more pit stops there, all the pit stops have been taken place, and the strategies have unfolded, we'll have some plenty more action as well towards the end of this Grand Prix. And like I said, we're only a halfway distance just now. Right then. Here comes New Zealand Cam then on the back of Dylan this time. I think he's close enough to make a move there into turn 1. DRS is available, ERS is available then down the main straight then for the Mercedes driver. He goes to the inside then to take the lead of the Grand Prix onto lap 18, onto the he's gone over the curb there. Oh, I thought that was New Zealand Cam picking up a penalty there. It was Kamara Racer, unfortunately for Kamara. His race is not going too well at this stage, but hopefully he can get himself back into this one. Of course, he has pit for a fresh set of tyres now and can go to the end of the Grand Prix from here. There's still plenty of drivers ahead of Kamara who have yet to make a pit stop. Glocks has gone for the soft compound tyres, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Kaz has got a 5-second run for speeding in the pit lane. That is going to be costly for Kaz. That will be added onto his race time unless he makes another pit stop after this one. He won't be served in this pit stop, unfortunately, for Kaz. And that is bad news indeed for the Ferrari driver then. He will be demoted down behind Kamara Racer as well, unfortunately for the Ferrari then. But of course, if there's a safety car or something like that, you can serve that 5-second penalty and get that removed as well. So take that opportunity if you can. If it, of course, materialises, that is. Dylan now is trying to stay with the Mercedes of Cam. Up the hill we go. They're all trying to lose the car, trying to lose traction. Trying to lose traction. He lost a bit of traction, I should say. He didn't try to do it. But now he stays in the DRS lane. So at this stage, Dylan there is looking strong indeed, and so is Cam there, but both of them are looking good indeed. McConey in the pit lane. He's caught it there on the hard compound tyres. So he's going to go for a longer stint potentially on either the mediums or the soft. We'll have to wait and see what he's going to go on to. We'll come back to him because there's plenty of racing still unfolding. Dylan there going to go back for the lead there. Is he? He's too far back, I would imagine, there into turn 4. He has to sit behind for the time being then. McConey into the pits then. He's gone for the medium compound tyres there from the hards. And he's going to come out outside of the points there, unfortunately, for McConey, but of course on a fresh set of boots then. Those who are ahead of him who have pitted are Pot Stuff and Farf are the only ones so far, so he has got a lot of other drivers there ahead of him who have yet to make a pit stop as well. So McConey can get himself back in this race. I'm not going to call him Macaroni, but there we go. Jenner has made a pit stop as well. He's serving a penalty, I think, or is that a wing change there for the Haas driver there? He's got himself back underway and onto a set of hard compound tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. He's going to have to hope for a safety car to come out to bring himself back into this race then, which it could do. You never know what could happen there in the next few laps or so. the medium compound tyres as Cam is into the pit lane. Cam has called it a day then on the hard compound. As Cam's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. That is going to be costly indeed. As Sweet NDP has pit as well. But Cam there picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is going to be very bad for the end of his race then. If that, of course, is going to, if it doesn't turn, of course, later on in another pit stop there. Sweet NDP is in the pit lane. He's not made a pit stop just yet. He's into the box now. But Cam there, that penalty there is going to be costly and added on to his race time as well at the end of the race, unless he makes another pit stop. So that is bad news indeed for the Mercedes driver. He was looking strong, potentially for the race win here, but that 5-second penalty could cost him, and Dylan could claim the victory with that penalty as well, because Dylan was looking strong indeed. Tango could get himself in the range as well. Dopey Lemons is up in that fight too. Tango got himself past the other Alfa Romeo driver and up into P2 as it stands right now. Yellow flags down the straight there. I'm not quite sure what was going on there for it looks like it was a Williams driver. Potentially it's Sweet NDP then and his teammate. Oh, there's a yellow flag for Potstuff. Potstuff's had a problem then in Sector 2. He's off the circuit then in the, or going up the hill then into Sector 2 as well. He's regained his composure, got himself back underway, but he's dropped down to P12 then on the medium compound tyres. And that is where we saw his teammate Gina then having a few problems as well early on in this Grand Prix and in the sprint as well, to be fair. But he's got himself back underway then, has Potstuff, but a big shame indeed because Potstuff was looking good in this one. Craig R is into the pit as well. So he is calling it a day then on his medium compound tyres. Let's see what he's going to go on to this time. 4 seconds is the gap between Dylan and Tango. Of course, Tango had that spin there and is recovering then after that spin as well. Into the pits goes Craig onto the soft compound tyres, so he's going to have to do 15 laps there on the soft compound tyres. Mumford also in the pits as well. And Craig is going to come out in around P10, I think it is. Yeah, he's going to be in the points still, even with that pit stop as well, which is great news for Craig. It just shows that the pace that he's got in that AlphaTauri has been incredible so far in this Grand Prix. And of course, he gained 11 places in the sprint event, which helped him a bit indeed. So there we go. Mumford out of the box as well. He's in P16 there on the medium compound tyres. I'm not quite sure why I can't see him. I'm just looking at the pit lane here, but he is out. He's coming back out on the track, I think there. He is out on the track now. Good stuff indeed. So there is Mumford there into P16 there, but of course on a new set of medium compound tyres there, that will be very promising stuff indeed for him in this rest of this race then, hopefully. Marconi now on a fresh set of boots. He's all over the back of Irvine now as well, who's on 20-lap-old hard compound tyres. This is not going to be a contest, I don't think, for the Williams driver, but he just needs to make sure he doesn't go into the back of that McLaren at the same time, because that McLaren, of course, will be braking a lot earlier than the Williams on fresh mediums, and trying to get himself back round to finish off the lap here as well. As we're covering off the inside, he's staying out is Irvine there. That is an odd call indeed. 5 seconds to move in for speeding in the pit lane as well. That is bad news for him, as Irvine is battling still. Look at this, his straight line speed is incredible then in the McLaren, and he's not held onto the place unfortunately yet. Marconi is up into P5. Farf and Dylan coming out the pit lane now. Farf is going to be close though. Farf is going to be in close proximity. Dylan has got the soft compound tyres on that car now, and he's going to go into P4, into P3 there, into turn 4 ahead there. Marconi and Irvine switching places still again, and here comes Sweet NDP then for the other move. He's got the move as well. Both the Williams getting past the McLaren then into P5 and 6 respectively. Yellow flags. Yellow flags, it's for Kamara Race, who's had a problem then at the bottom of the hill. Then yellow flags for the Aston Martin. There's no front wing then for the Aston Martin either. Which is bad news indeed. So hopefully he can get that recovered to the pit box and get a new front wing and get a set of soft compound tyres on and go for fastest lap then for Kamara Racer. Jinner there is trying to get himself back in this race then on the fresh hard compound tyres as well. Dopey Lemons from the lead of the Grand Prix is finally calling it a day then on those 22 lap old hard compound tyres, and we'll go on to something a bit faster hopefully. Dylan there, sorry, New Zealand Cam takes the lead of the race. Dylan there is in P2, but he is, where is he? He is, I'm not sure where is his timer. He is 6 seconds off the lead now, but of course with that penalty for New Zealand Cam, he could be demoted down the order. Sweet NDP and Farf battling away again, and up into P4 goes the Alpine of Farf, then getting himself past the Williams of Sweet NDP then into turn 3, and here comes Sweet, who is battling back there, but he has to follow the corner there. He has to follow the circuit rather than go straight through. Craig R is back up into P7 now. He's all over the back now of Tango as well, which is looking good indeed for Craig R to get himself pulled along and gain a few positions there with the penalties of drivers ahead of him as well. So that is not all done and dusted just yet. We'll have to wait and see if Dylan can catch up to New Zealand Cam now. New Zealand Cam has set off on a great pace. He only pitted a couple of laps before Dylan, but he's pitted for the medium compound tyres, and the undercut has worked massively then for the Mercedes driver. Dylan, of course, going purple in sector 2 though. that is looking promising indeed there for Dylan to potentially get himself, as Kamara has retired. Oh, he's in the pit lane there, has Kamara. So unfortunately for Kamara, not gone well this race, and that would be a licence point for his pit and quit as well, unfortunately for him. Here comes Dylan there to cross the line. There. He's gone 9/10 of a second faster, but he's not set the fastest lap time. Tango and Farf now battling. Here comes Sweet Andrew P as well down the inside of the Alpha Aston Martin, I should say. And there's contact, and there's more wing damage again as well, and that is oh god. Craig R has got himself through into P5 there unscathed as well somehow, but I'm not quite sure who's got the wing damage there. There's Kamara's car is just coming out of the pit lane there, stranded. But hopefully doesn't get involved in anything, as Kamara Racer has left the session as well. Unfortunately for him, it wasn't going his way this race, and that is him out of the Grand Prix. Not sure what happened there, or whose wing that was, to be honest, because it looks like Sweet NJP's wing is fine. Farf, I think, it's Farf's right end plate there. You can see the end plate is missing there on that Alpine, and now Dopey Lemons has caught up to the back of the Alpine driver as well, trying to go around the outside then in Sector 2. That is not going to be an easy move as well, but I'm not sure if he realises that Farf has got wing damage on that Alpine car, yeah, I think he's just he's going to get a bit frustrated there, being held up through Sector 2 with that slow Alpine car there, but he has got to bide his time then. And of course he will get some DRYs. Oh dear, that was close. He's got himself through there just about into P7 there. Good stuff indeed. Yellow flags. It's for Jinner again, and Jinner's had a problem through Sector 2 once again. It's just not going his way. Both the Haas drivers have had a problem there through Sector 2 in this race. Back into the pits goes Farf. So I think that might have cost, unless there's a safety car later on, that might have cost him his place in the top 10, unfortunately, in this race as well. We didn't see exactly what happened. As VTOD is coming in the pits as well. That's going to be a double stack with his teammate, and 5-second penalty for VTOD also as well. That is not good news, and he's going to be held because his teammate is trying to get his front wing replaced in the pit lane too. Oh, he's just about got himself out just in time, which is good news. VTOD there into the pits as well, but they're being very slow indeed to try and get that front wing serviced and sorted, or that penalty sorted as well. Dylan is not bringing the gap there down to New Zealand Cam, so that 5-second penalty could be redundant at the end of this Grand Prix if he can't get himself within that window of the penalty that Cam has picked up. Their penalties are starting to roll in though, so we might see some more changes then in the order. Then Sweet MP is close to Craig R. Then Craig R's going to try and catch up to Tango into sector 3 we go. And I think that was sarcastic from Serious Mushroom, saying that Kamara's had his best season ever, but hopefully he can bounce back then. We've got 2 more races to go then. Hopefully he can bounce back for those 2 and then set the precedent then for Season 7, of course, which of course will be Silver Season 7 next season. Season 10 for ALR in total, and of course the 5th year of ALR next year as well. So we're going to have to push the boat out for that one, aren't we? So we'll do our best. Right then. Craig is trying to get himself in the range then of the DRS for Tango, but Tango's actually fighting with McConey now. He's in that 1-second window of the podium places as it stands. The gap extending between New Zealand Cam there and Dylan on the soft compact tyres. So that is bad news indeed. Gordo and Potstuff are battling away. Gordo's lost out there to P9. Potstuff is up into P9, I should say. Movement now is all over the back there of Gordo as well. Gordo on the hard compact tyres, and will be able to get to the end of the race on these tyres, but I'm not sure he will be within the range of the points. He'll have to try and hold on to the DRS there of Potstuff to help pull himself along really. Tango there is within that 1-second window just about then of the Williams ahead of McConey, and McConey currently holding on to that final podium place at the moment as well, looking strong indeed then for the Williams driver. Mumford has got past Moomin, who is, where is he on? He's off the, no, he wasn't off the circuit, he was just letting the McLaren pass. Craig R has been passed now by Sweet ODP into turn 1 and 2 now, but Craig R can fight back there if he can get himself a nice run through turns 2 and 3 of the centre. S is there, DRS available as well. Here we go then with the Alpha Tauri that just breezed through and up into back up into P5, I should say. McConey has been passed by Tango now as well. Tango on the fresher medium compact tyres. Yellow flag then for Jinner. Jinner's off the circuit then at sector 3 this time. He's just trying to get himself back on. He has got himself back on again, but it's the spins that are costing him massively here in this race, as Glocks is back in for another set of soft compact tyres. Yeah, unfortunately there for Ginner, there's a few drivers out there as well, Ginner, who's had a few problems there in this race, and it's just not gone their way so far. But like I said, any late safety cars could never mind, Ginner's retired in the pit lane, so it doesn't matter. So that is that. Then two license points for Ginner there for 2 pits and pits in the sprint and in the feature. And unfortunately, if he just kept on going in the sprint as well, there was a safety car literally a few seconds after he retired as well, which is a big shame. Potstaff there all over the back now of Gordo, but Mumford is coming through and Potstaff's off the circuit. He's kept the car pointing in the right direction just about, but Potstaff there losing the place there as McConey picks up a 3 second penalty. That is bad news for McConey as he goes through the centre S's again. But there we go. Craig are now under pressure as Irvine picks up a penalty as well. The penalty is starting to roll in now. Potstaff is back in the pit lane and calling it a day then on the medium compound tyres. Mumford has got himself past Gordo. Has he? Yes, he has. Up into P8 there for the McLaren driver there, moving as well, battling away with Irvine, and Irvine is lost out there for the point and 10 positions as it stands. And neither of them seem to have not quite sure what's going on there. Mumford and Gordo battling away again there. Gordo's got the move there, but here comes Mumford on the switchback. And he's got the position, has he? I think they're both running out of ERS there as we go down the inside then for Gordo. He's going to have to hold the position just about round the outside goes Mumford. It's close indeed between these two. They're battling away through Sector 2, and this is opening the door as well for Moomin and for Irvine to get themselves back in the battle here as well. Here comes Gordo there. He's got the inside now for the next right-hander through the horseshoe, but it's close indeed, and now Moomin sticking his nose in there. I don't think where it should be as well, because to be honest, 3 wide through there is going to be impossible. But Mumford holds on to P9. Craig has lost out to Dopey Lemons there. Moomin and Mumford are still battling away there. Gordo is disappearing off in the distance as well now, and this is great news for Gordo because he can use those battling pack behind to just not have to deal with all of this rubbish. And it's 4 wide almost. It's going to be 3 wide. Is it through to turn 1? Oh my goodness me! Reflection is very wise indeed. Do not stick your nose in that one. But I think there could be some bad news coming this way for one of the McLarens and for an AlphaTauri potentially. But Reflection, I think, was just deciding to bide his time and can keep himself out of the fray on that one, because it looked like 4 wide through down the main straight. I don't think it was going to work out, especially into turn 1. Right then, Gordo has kept hold of P8 for the time being. Moomin now up into P9, getting himself past Mumford. Mumford has dropped down to the McLaren switching places as well. We go into turn 2, sector 2, I should say, as they're still battling away those two McLarens. So I'm not sure if there's any team orders going on there down with Zach Brown, but it seems like they're still free to fight. Gordo's been passed by Moomin, has he, into the horseshoe turn. Dopey Lemons has got himself passed up into P5, then on sweet into P as well. Yellow flags. It's for Williams. It's for McConey. McConey's had a problem there at turn 2. He's lost the car. I'm not sure if there was a helping hand, but he's lost the car as the Williams driver trying to get himself back underway. He's got a big gap there back to P8 there. He's going to drop down to P7, but he's not going to drop down any further. Blimey, goodness me, as now Moomin is being passed by Gordo. You can see from the rear wing here of the AlphaTauri the proximity of the McLarens there and the Mercedes of Reflection behind as well. Into turn 3 we go, side by side now with Gordo, with Mumford, as we go down towards the Cena Drago for the 30th time now, and I think Mumford is through. He is through, and blimey, they're making it pretty epic for the final points paying position in this one. We've got 7 laps to go, 6.5 laps to go to the end of this one, but blimey, it is action-packed throughout this race. Dylan is now 7.7 seconds behind Cam, and Cam, I think, is checked out in the distance there. He's got that 5-second penalty that we added onto his race time. We'll have a look at the penalty situation here, but at the moment, that 5-second penalty is going to mean nothing because it's not going to affect the finishing position there for the New Zealand Cam there in the Mercedes at the moment. Mumford has got himself past Gordon. Now up the hill we go there onto lap 31 then for these guys here. 13 seconds is the gap to P7 of McConey. McConey with that incident there on the last lap, then recovering very nicely, but he's got that gap, big enough of a gap to then fight later on. to hold on to P7 as well. Gordo back up ahead of Mumford there into turn 1 and now into P8 once again. Then this battle resumes, and now there's a Ferrari of Glocks there who's joined the fray in the background as well. Far won't be too far away either as well. Here comes Mumford again on the back of the Red Bull, I should say, round the outside into turn 4. Can he hold the position? It's going to be close indeed. He's locked. Looks like he's got the position there. Gordo battling away nicely indeed. It's very fair from both drivers. Enough space left there. Gordo now on the outside, but Mumford has got the position there, up into P8, then through into sector 2 we go. And Gordo's going to go down the inside. Then it's a dive, and he's just about. There's contact between the two cars there, and he's held on to the position as Mumford. Gordo has to slot into P9 then for the time being. That is. Blimey. It's off the circuit goes somebody there. Moomin's off the circuit, completely off the circuit. There's a yellow, not a yellow flag even. It's a front wing missing there for the Alpha Tauri. Glocks has had a problem as well, has he? No, it's what's happened to Glocks there? He's off the circuit completely. He's just letting everyone through there. What's happened to Glocks? He's had a problem there somewhere. He's got some technical issues there, has Glocks there. He's really struggling there. I'm not quite sure what's going on for the Ferrari reserve there. He's having a few problems, and what is going on here for Glocks, and he's really struggling indeed. Anyway, back to the battle here for the points pair positions then, and Irvine has got himself up into P9. Glocks has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and that unfortunately I think is going to end his race. Then he's retired in the pit lane, so unfortunately again, not really good news for him, his full-time seat. But there we go. Irvine now is all over the back of his teammate there. He's going to use his teammate to pull himself along there, potentially fight off Gordo for the points pair positions there. Favre up into P11 there, getting himself past Reflection on the fresh soft compound tyres, and we're on to lap 33 of 36 there somehow. It's actually flown by pretty quickly, this race, compared to the sprint, that is. Yeah, good stuff indeed. And at the moment, Craig R is looking good. He's in P6 at the moment. He's got some DRS there to pull himself along there on the Williams of Sweet MJP there. Potentially could get himself on into P5 as it stands. Round down the back of the order then. We've got not further down the order, not too far down the back of the order. Down the order then we've got Irvine there who's holding on to the DRS then of his teammate to try and defend from Gordo as well. Gordo's going to be pushing on there to try and get himself back past the McLaren there into P9 and potentially get a move there into turn 1, but he's too far back. He just can't get through as yellow flags again, and it's Moomin who's off the circuit. Moomin has caused there better not be a safety car. Oh no, it's not. Thankfully, otherwise that would have just ruined the race as well. Because I think there's a few people out there with penalties that would not be too happy with that one. But right then, Craig R is in range of getting P5 here. Only 15 drivers are going to be able to finish this race as it stands. Dylan, Craig R, Gordo, and Mumford are your candidates for driver of the day here in Brazil. Then there's the penalty situation. Then so Marconi, Cam will have 5 seconds, but it won't be affecting his race result. Tango with 3 seconds there currently would drop him outside of the podium places. Marconi with 3 seconds there in P7. 3 seconds for Irvine and for Reflection. 5 for Kaz and 5 for V Todd will be added onto their race times at the end of the lap 36. That is. So there we go. But as it stands, that is what is going on there. There is your position changes as well, so you can see who has done what then so far in this Grand Prix as well. But it's been a pretty epic Grand Prix. So far, not so much as the sprint, which was chaotic rather than epic, I would say, but it has been one to watch so far as well. Fantastic stuff. I say so far, we've only got 2 laps to go now, but it's been an epic Brazilian send-off there for Silver. That is, of course, this is the not penultimate round, the almost penultimate round then for the Silver Season 6. And this is going to be it for Brazil here in Silver as well. But nonetheless, they've done a fantastic job then of really putting on a show. So it's been interesting to say the least, hasn't it? So well done to all the drivers who've actually managed to get to the get towards the end of this race. We haven't finished it just yet. Is looking very strong indeed then, potentially go for a last lap overtake then on the Williams there and get himself into P5 potentially as well. I'll have to wait to see how it unfolds. So there we go. At the moment then, 15 drivers remain in this Grand Prix, with Moomin there crashing out there, it looks like in sector 2. Glocks there retiring the pit, same for Ginna and same for Camaro there, and Mr. Elite there not making it to turn 1 on lap 1. We've had 5 retirements so far in this Grand Prix, and hopefully we don't get any more, but there we go. So Craig R is now 0.2 of a second away from that P5. It's tantalising then for the AlphaTauri driver. Could get himself into range then. He started, of course, down in P19 then in the sprint, of course, and finished in P9 in the sprint. So that was very good indeed. Irvine's got himself past his teammate then of Mumford then, and now on to, now Gordo's on the back of both of them as well here into second 2, and always almost to the back of the fuser of that second McLaren and Mumford. But all these three have been fighting pretty much all race, to be fair, it seems, and they've done a great job of keeping it clean and keeping it interesting and keeping it enticing indeed as well. Here comes Craig R, and he's on the attack then. Can he go down the inside? He's too far back. We're on to the final lap of the Grand Prix here in Brazil then, and Craig R is looking to get himself lined up for a move through the centre S there down towards the Senna del Lago for the final time. Can he make the move then with the DRS assistance? He's going to get close, 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 and he's not close enough then into turn 4. He has to sit behind the Williams driver then, but blimey, it's like I said, it's been an epic Grand Prix so far. Well, so far, I keep saying so far, but we're on to the final lap now. But here comes Cam, who is going to win the Brazilian Grand Prix then for the Silver Season 6 round 20, and of course 2 races to go then after this one there. But Cam there with the 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, it does not going to make any difference to his result. He's going to win in Brazil here and cross the finish line in P1 then for the Mercedes team. Great stuff indeed then, reminiscent of his of the driver he was of course reserving for, which is B Rabbit then, the champion. So well done indeed to New Zealand Cam there with a fantastic win there. Dylan there in P2 after a mammoth stint there in the first stint there, fighting very well there with New Zealand Cam for the race lead, and looked like he could be on the cards for a race win as well. Dopey Lemons has got P3 with a fantastic result as well there. That 3-second penalty for Tango there demotes him down to P4 by 14 thousandths of a second. That is horrible then for Tango there, but he's lost out of the podium then in the end. Sweet MTP there in P5. Craig R finishes P6. Great result for Craig R indeed. McConey there in P3. That 3-second penalty did not, that spin, but the 3-second penalty did not cost him in the end. Mumford in P8 there. Gordo just get P9 in the end. Favre gets a point as well finally to finish off in P10. Irvine there with the penalties added on finishes P11. Potstuff in P12 as Reflection finishes P13. Kaz in P14 and V Todd in P15. Moomin, Jinner, Camaro, Mr. Elite, and Maglox there, all DNF in this race, either through a crash or through a pit and quit, so they did not finish this one through. But blimey. Oh, it's been a long one, hasn't it? It's been a safety car filled one as well, to be fair. But there is your podium drivers there. New Zealand Cam there on the top step there in the Mercedes. Then we've got an Alfa Romeo 2-3 there of Dylan and Dopey Lemons there. Great result then from the Alfa Romeo team, and of course very good stuff indeed for those drivers then in the constructors fight as well. But of course Mercedes scoring the race win then in the end. Reflection unfortunately not finishing the points for Mercedes tonight, but he's still fantastic result indeed. My voice is going now, so I'm getting a bit too overexcited about this. There's your classification then for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We'll run through the results then for this race itself. We've run through the sprint already there. New Zealand Cam is your race winner there and fastest lap then for the Mercedes driver. And then we've got Dylan in P2, Dopey Lemons P3. Great result for Alfa Romeo, as I've said already. Tango in P4, Sweeter P in P5. Craig R with a fantastic result in P6 there after starting off the back of the grid for the sprint. McCody in P7 after that spin. Mumford in P8 there. Gordo P9. Favre in P10 is your top 10 classification. And Irvine, Potstuff, Reflection, Kaz, and V Todd P11 down to P15. Unfortunately, Moomin, Glocks, Jinner, Kamara, and Mr. Elite did not finish in this Grand Prix. Great stuff indeed. I think we've got some drivers for interviews, so we'll start off with Dopey Lemons if he's if he can hear me. That is.
Hello.
Hopefully he can.
Hey.
Welcome to the podium. I think it's the first time I've interviewed you. Is that right?
It's second or third over the course of the
second
season
or
and a
third.
half.
That's just how bad my memory is. But fantastic stuff from you as well. And I think, like I said, you were under the radar in that race because I think there was a lot of incidents happening all around you, but not for you, which was good stuff indeed. In your case, that is. But how did you feel that that race went for the sprint and then for the feature as well?
Well, the sprint was didn't go well at all. to be honest. I had to pit halfway through, so it just didn't end well at all, really, for me. The race, can't really believe it went that well, to be honest. I wasn't expecting to be on the podium after qualifying or the sprint. It wasn't really looking that good, but I think the race came to me a little bit, which I'm very thankful for.
You certainly flew through in the beginning of the Grand Prix, itself rather than the sprint. I think there was a few drivers who had to make pit stops during the sprint race with the safety cars all coming out. I think they had 2 safety cars in that one, which is a pretty good achievement for a sprint race, to be fair. But no, you did a very good job in the race. And when you saw that you were going to be in that 3-second window for Tango potentially, did you think that's my podium guaranteed, or did you have to sort of just struggle on there and try and keep within that 3-second window for the last few laps?
Well, it looked like I was catching on the last few laps, and in lap 35, he got back out of that 3 seconds. I was like, oh no, he's picked up the pace like for that last little bit. When I crossed the line, the actual time screen from what I could see said like 3 seconds and 4 thousandths. So I was like, oh, I haven't quite done it. And then the game figured itself out, and I've just got in there. Very, very lucky.
Yeah, I think it was 14 thousandths in your favour, that was, so it was a pretty close finish indeed. So well done, well done to yourself there for the podium, and a very good stuff indeed for the Alfa Romeo in the constructors as well for silver. So
thank you.
cracking result.
Yeah.
And hopefully see you back here. We've got Las Vegas coming up, of course, next week. So hopefully that'll be a bit of fun for yourself as well. And we'll see you back up in the interviews there for that one.
Hopefully so, mate. Thank you.
Good stuff indeed. And Dylan, I think Dylan is in here. Well, did he join?
Yep.
I'm not sure. Dylan, can you hear me?
Yep,
Hello?
I can.
Oh, Dylan's here.
Oh.
Good stuff. Sorry, it's my audio that's wrong, isn't it? There we go. So yeah, Dylan there.
At least my mic is not muted.
No, it's me, don't worry. You were battling with Cam there for the first stint on the medium compound tyres, and it looked like you had the pace there to win the race. Did you think that was going to be the case, or what do you think was going to happen?
I reckon I really have a pace because the medium pace were very good, especially when it get the stage is getting worn. I still keep up with Cam easily, to be quite frankly. I'm still putting Cam under pressure. And when the pit stop came, it's pretty much Cam is a league of his own this evening. So yeah, that's it.
Did you think maybe after the strategies, of course, after the pit stop phase had gone through, that you think maybe pitting earlier for the hard compound tyres would have been the better strategy, or were you on the right strategy for the whole race, do you think, on your opinion?
I think I would be goose if I would be on the hard compound tyres if I pitted earlier. So I say in hindsight, it's like staying out. I think it's the right call to stay out and keep the pace as much as I can. So yeah, it was pretty much the right call, but as I said, Cam deserve a winner.
Well, it was still a great race indeed from yourself, and again, like I said, the Dopey Lemons there, a great result for the Alfa Romeo then in the constructors as well. So not all doom and gloom, but a good result for you. I can't believe a doom and gloom for a P2 is not the right words, is it? Yeah, well done indeed.
Definitely This is pretty much first major result, like double podium for the team, so I'm pretty much very, very happy with it. I was cheering on Dopey.
We'll take it.
On the latter stages, at the end of a race, to try to get within the 3 seconds and get more points on the board and fight for the constructors till the very end.
Absolutely.
Good shout indeed, and you didn't do the team any harm really there. So good stuff from both of you. And our race winner then, New Zealand Cam there, once again a fantastic performance there in this race. And we thought that might a 5-second penalty might be costly for you guys, for your team and for yourself, but it didn't make a difference in the end.
Oh, I thought it was done. I thought I was screwed. The race was going so well. It was such a good battle, and then I sped into the pits by 2 miles an hour, and I genuinely thought it was like game over. And then when I saw Dylan come out of the pits on softs, I was kind of like, okay. It was fun while it lasted. This is another kind of repeat of yesterday, where in gold I kind of just fell apart at the end. But I don't know whether I found pace or Dylan lost pace. But as soon as I pit for those mediums, like it went from close to I was able to extend by a couple of tenths every lap, and I don't quite understand why that happened when he was on the quicker compound, but it was a good race, good battle at the start, a bit
Must
tricky,
have given
but
EA some extra money with some cars there or
yeah,
something
just
like
a few quid on the slide.
yeah, extra grip for the medium tyres. Yeah, there we go. But
Yeah,
no, it was a fantastic race for himself. It didn't go your way in the sprint, though, did it? What happened in the sprint event?
no. Uh, the sprint is hard not to get angry about because I had that completely under control. I had the lead, we were flip-flopping between is it Tango? So it was fine, I had it under control, loads of ERS. That last safety car comes out, and for whatever reason, after that safety car, my tyre temps were fine. Everything was good. Got to turn one, and the rear just disappeared. So I had a little snap. Obviously, I got the 3 seconds.
Yep.
I'm not going to really get into too much about it, but I went for the move around Tango on the outside into turn one because I had to do that to get, obviously try and pull away, gain as many places as I can because I had that 3 seconds. But now whether it's lag or not, I don't know. But
Well,
the gap was definitely closed.
You lost out to
I was,
down to P8 there in the end, but you made up for it massively in the Grand Prix where the big points are on offer. So it was still a great result for yourself.
luckily, Tango and Dylan weren't able to completely gap in the main race, so it kind of allowed me the chance to get through the field and still be on the back of them, which definitely helped.
Well, another good result for yourself in ALR. So fantastic! Well done to
Go
you
well.
for the race win here tonight. Then, and we'll hopefully see you back then. I don't think the silver guys want you anymore, so you'll have to race in gold next week. But no, really well done from yourself and a great win there for Mercedes in the constructors as well. And that's it for ALR Silver here in Brazil. So we'll see you tomorrow for bronze, and we'll of course we are back in Las Vegas in a week's time then for silver, gold, and bronze as well. Of course next week as well. So stay tuned to ALR, plenty more action coming up, and we'll see you soon.